Wait, I got a question mark end? Restart? That's a new button. Whoa! Whoa! Wait, does this game continue? I haven't slept so deeply in a long time. I haven't slept well ever since that Christmas. Partly because I get so many clients coming to me these days, and partly because I always remember those days when I was at the ResTArT Tavern. Day, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark, question mark. When I opened my eyes, I didn't see the files I piled onto my desk. I instead saw the ceiling of my old room at the White Star. I clearly remember that I finished 2 cases yesterday, just opened the files of the St. Isaac's Cathedral case before I dozed off. Why did I wake up here of all places? I should get up and see what's happening. I lifted the quilt and sat up from the bed. I pushed the door, but I couldn't get it open. No one seems to be staying today. Oh yeah, everybody's here, look at that. Who should I chat with? I want to chat with Ionis, he was my favorite. I sat across from Ionis. Careful with my shoulder. Ionis, half standing, slowly pulls his hand back and scratches his head embarrassedly. Heh, sorry. Old habits and such. It's just a friendly greeting is all. That's one way to put it, I guess. Looking to chat or something? What's the date? Yeah, what's today's date? 24th. What's wrong? No, I just woke up and I was a little confused. Overused your brain or something? Looking to chat or something? Okay. Ask Giannis to leave. Do you have any plans on Christmas? Enjoy Christmas at the White Star, you know? Of course, you? Actually, I want to return to my agency. Seems it's gonna snow today. Why be afraid of a little snow? Besides, all the food and drink will be all the food and drink will be here at the tavern. That's not the point. What, you think it'll be like one of those detective stories, a bunch of murders in the tavern during a blizzard or something like that? Of course not. Doesn't seem like I persuade him to leave before the murders. Interesting. I already talked to him about those things. Seems like he didn't drink enough, so he ran out of talking materials, eh? Who should I talk to? Who should I talk to? This is so weird. Sergeant in the kitchen. Lifted the wooden divider between the hall and squeezed in the narrow counter. Suddenly felt worried. Would Sergeant think I was crazy if I told him what was going to happen? Pushed the burlap curtain aside, walked to the kitchen. Sergeant stopped washing the dishes and turned to look at me in curiosity. This action. What's wrong, Roman? Ask about Elegant's room? By the way, you did make sure to have plenty of food stored up, right? Of course, I've got enough we can eat for 5 or 6 days. For how many people? 5 maximum? Besides, I make most of my money on the ale and cider. But if the rooms are full, then I could just order more supplies and have them delivered. But there's gonna be a blizzard. Says who? Besides, I'm not gonna chase off paying guests. Can't persuade him at all. What's wrong, Roman? Is Elegant still here? If I remember correctly, she was in the 3rd room on the right. This is okay, so a lot of the dialogue choices that I'm getting, other than like trying to convince people to leave and close whatever, those are the dialogue choices from day 1 before anybody's murdered. In fact, before some people have arrived, actually. Yep. You're moving pretty fast. What do you mean? I mean, you look flustered. She told you what room she's staying in. I'll admit, I didn't expect your taste, but it's not what you think. Hey, you're in your 30s. I mean, there's worse choices than her. Says the bachelor running a tavern. I live longer than you, I can wait. Oh, for God's sake. Well, let me knock on her door and see if she will... Knocked on the door of the 3rd room on the right. Yes? It's me, Roman. What is it? What's today's date? I have no time for games right now. I'm serious. What is the date? The 24th. Are you there? No. Get to the point. Can I not say anything else to her? That's weird. What's today's date? No time for games right now. Yeah. That's so weird. It's not letting me. Zanzok's in the attic. Sergeant lives in the attic. Not Thrifty. Zanzok lives with him. Okay. Lunique and Solar aren't here yet. Push the door, but it couldn't open. Seems no one is staying today. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is before anybody got here. Oh, that's so bizarre. Is that besides Anzox? What's wrong? Are you in trouble? Yes, a lot. What do you think about Elegant? I remember asking this question before. Well, she doesn't seem to be fond of idle chit-chat. Yeah, this is weird. Like, okay, so I'm asking the questions, but like my character is aware of the fact that he has asked these questions. So like, it's slightly changing. This is bizarre. I didn't expect this game to continue. Well, she doesn't seem fond of idle chit-chat. And since when do nuns show up in taverns? Maybe she's looking for wayward souls to shame or something? Same answer. Maybe Sarsen asked her to come to sing Christmas carols? Totally. Do you have any plans for Christmas? I will. I will stay in the White Star. Anyway, Sarsen and I are friends. Every other tavern owner would think I'm trying to be a mooch and run me off. I don't think I can persuade him to leave before the murders. It's also implied that Anzox is sleeping with Sarsen earlier on. I forgot about that. But they don't ever expand on that. The only person you see sleep with someone else is Lunique sleeping with Ionis before he kills him. And nothing special. Well, you're welcome to take a seat and have a drink with me. Well, oh, if anybody, I could scare Peter in leaving. Peter looked up at me. Roman, do you think there's such a thing as true fairness? Excuse me, I'm a bit confused about what's going on. What's going on is that carnivores oppress herbivores by the status. That's all he says. Okay, well. Sat across from Kane. Aw, the first guy who dies. Looked like Kane didn't notice me as he scooped up a spoonful of stew and watched it dribble back into the bowl. Oh god, what voice did I give you? Oh my god. I can't blame Sarsen. What? Stopping his hands, Kane looked up at me. Nothing. I just feel Sarsen's cooking skill. I don't think it's bad. Indeed, this vegetable stew is excellent by the standards of a carnivore. Other carnivores won't taste anything weird. I don't want to sound like an herbivore supremacist or anything, but I still think it's better to leave the cooking vegetable dishes to people like us. I can almost hear the radishes in the stew screaming from the mistreatment. By the way, no matter what happens today, don't get excited. Actually, it'd probably be best if you hurry home before the snow gets really heavy. You're joking, right? What would I do to kill time after I get home? It looks like no one can be persuaded. I should find Elegant. Okay. I want to hear Ionis again. I'm a little curious about how life by the sea is like. Life by the sea? That's nothing special. You know how most folks like you visit the sea on holiday? It's kind of the opposite for us. It's nice to get someplace far away from the brine and constant motion. Us sea folk are used to the terrifying ways of the sea. Kind of relaxing to enjoy the inland life for a while. After all, it's not like the earth will rise up out of the blue and swallow your house and everyone in it. I heard that there are medicines for seasickness now. The expression on Ionis' face froze. I'm not supposed to know that he gets seasick. It's too late. Looking to chat or something? Why no seaside taverns? Aren't you satisfied with taverns near the docks? Why come all the way to the White Star instead? Have you been to the taverns over there? I came in and had a look when I was handling the case. Then you saw the fish hooks and fishing nets they like to hang on the back wall behind the counter? You're scared of fish hooks? You'd be too if you were a shark. Okay. Well, he didn't really say nothing, except for the fact that I brought up his seasickness. Before he told me that he got seasick. Okay, talk to Elegant again. Knocked on the third room on the right. Yes? It's me, Roman. What is it? I just want to ask you something and then I'll leave you alone. What? Elegant opened the door and stood there, looking at me expectantly. Her hand didn't leave the doorknob. Would you be interested if I told you everything that's going to happen in this tavern in the next few days? That information may not be useful to me since I intend to leave tomorrow. Tomorrow, then maybe. Are you drunk? completely sober. Can I come in? Elegant stepped away a bit, leaving enough room for me to squeeze through the door sideways. I darted through the door, and she immediately closed the door behind me. Start talking. There will be a severe snowfall starting tonight and continue until the 28th. It'll be suicide to go out in it. I thought you were going to say something interesting. If you just want to give me a weather forecast, you can leave and start. You can leave and start talking. I don't know why it ended in "and." You were hired to investigate the collapse of the St. Isaac Cathedral. What? How did Sargent start? Let me finish. After lunch, a white-furred dragon will come in. His name is Thrivey and he's a doctor. Then Heron, a hyena friar, will come in. He has a problem with alcoholism. And then Vincel, a lynx spice merchant. By the way, he's the one who hired you. Next in line will be the wolf Marquis Lunique of Sunnyvale and his wife Solar, the tigress, and Sean, their sheepish goat servant. Wait, even what you said is true. Why are you telling me? How long have we known each other? Not long, but enough to make me trust you. Very well. I suppose we will see soon enough. What do you want? I just need you to believe me, nothing more. Interesting. Because what I'm about to share with you could mean life or death for the people in this pub. Generally, I just dislike involving myself in those sorts of matters, but I suppose I can hear you out. There will be murder tonight. Sean will kill Kate. Are you looking for advice on how to stop it, or I think I already know how to stop the murder, but I may need your help. Interesting. I do not suppose there will be a reward. You won't be treated like a suspect. Acceptable, I suppose. Tell me the plan. I'll tell you when I figure it out. That does little to inspire confidence, but fine. Elegant opened the door and looked back to me expectantly. Okay, sorry to bother you. I left quickly and sensibly, and the door closed behind me. The smell of stewed vegetables came from downstairs. I used to deeply hope that I could go back to this Christmas, but now it seems that I certainly have, and forgot that I had to eat vegetarian food. I forgot about that. I've got good news and bad news. The good news is that Kane decided to bust into my kitchen and, quote, show you idiots what an actual vegetable stew is like. Luckily for you guys, he cooked the stew before I managed to hurl him out onto the street. Bad news is today's lunch is vegetable stew. That's totally the same. I stirred the stew with my spoon, and the thick soup swirled slowly in the bowl. Ionis was holding the bowl to his face and dumping the liquid into his open maw. It really can't be a healthy way to eat anything. Elegant didn't seem to have any particular reaction, she just looked lost in thought. Kane ate his masterpiece contentedly without any hesitation while glancing at me secretly from time to time. I lowered my head immediately and had a few bites. I sat by the hearth. Elegant was still sitting in the corner, holding a drink she had never drank and watching the doorway intently. The snow was falling out again outside, so Sargent needed help to sweep the snowflakes which were blown from the doorway. Still not willing to take a sip. I have to stay awake to see if your prophecy will come true. Almost everything is the same as I remember now. The wind, heavy with floating snow, tapped the wooden door enough that a band of sunlight could shine through the gap across the wall. Suddenly the door swung open. It's so cold. Could I get something to warm me up? Thrivey had arrived. Elegant looked at me, then shrugged. What's a child doing out in the snow like this? Well, hurry up, boy. Come in and have a rest. Don't call me boy. Would a child be carrying this? He produced a medical license from his pocket and brandished it up at Sargent like a dagger. Sargent frowned as he read it. Oh, my apologies, Master Doctor. Please forgive my rudeness. The last thing I need is to freeze to death before I get back to my clinic. I'll just be waiting for the snow to calm down. Of course. Please warm yourself by the fire. I'll carry your things. Sargent tried to lift the suitcase, then let out a labored grunt as he shifted it. What in God's name? The dragon took off his thick and heavy coat, climbed onto the chair opposite of me, and reclined with a sigh of full contentment. Ooh, got a burp. Greetings, I'm Thrivey, a physician by trade. He rose slightly and stretched out his right hand. I returned the handshake. My pleasure, I'm Roman. Now then, where in the blazes am I? I never passed by here. The only reason I managed to spot this place was the lamp outside. This is the White Star Tavern. Thrivey continued to look at me with confusion. The Vela District? Vela District? My word. Well, I hadn't expected to get quite so lost. He shrugged and greeted Elegant. Just then, the door shook violently and gave the blizzard across gave the blizzard access to the inside of the room. The falling snowflakes flew up and down with the invading storm. At the same time, someone cursed loudly in the cellar. Mind your language. There's a child. Oh, fuck off. I'm not a child. I walked to the door, but I didn't plan to close it quickly because Heron was coming any second. A hyena wrapped tightly in a thin hooded robe stumbled inside and fell to the ground. This is a tavern. Please, I humbly ask for shelter in a warm hearth. May I stay? I'm not the boss. I can't call the shots. Perhaps the owner will show kindness and not hurl me into the street. He took off the robe on the back of the chair, then kicked back and leaned heavily. The partially suspended chair groaned under the pressure. Sorry to keep you waiting. Huh? Going so soon, Doctor? Sergeant stood in the door. Oh yeah, I guess this reaction makes sense now, because Thrivey did know who Heron was. His eyes are so far apart. He's a dragon. Sergeant stood in the doorway to the cellar with mugs of ale in his hands as Thrivey was getting up from the cellar. I'm not feeling well, and I want to find a place to rest. Do you have any available room? Now I know why Thrivey feels uncomfortable. Let me think. I haven't cleaned the other rooms yet, otherwise I can offer the space I have in the attic. Thrivey walked to the stairs quickly, politely refusing the cup Sergeant offered. Thank you, but I'm a little queasy at the moment. My stomach is a bit too delicate for alcohol. Well, no need to waste such fine ale. Sergeant stared in surprise as the hyena plucked the mug from his hand without any hesitation and intended to drink. Hold on, you're a friar, aren't you? Don't bother with such rigid rules. Ah, 'tis far nobler to not waste the gifts granted by God. Well, how should I address you? Sergeant crossed out a whole line on the bill with his pencil, then added a few words. It seems like you don't go to church on the weekends, or you'd know my name. I would go, but seeing as I'm the only one working at this tavern, I don't have much chance, excuse me. With a slight frown, Sergeant turned back and quickly retreated into the kitchen. I suppose that he would stay there for a long time. Oops, my bad. I just remembered, I have something to do upstairs. See you later, Friar Heron. I didn't expect you to know me. See you later, dude. Dude? Dude? Alright, Father Heron. Dude. Thrivey was standing on the corridor and staring blankly up at the ceiling. Surely there's some way to... Here, leave it to me. I went ahead and untied the knot step by step. Thrivey watched as I untied the string from the wooden handle quietly beside me. Okay, I got it. Next step is just... I maneuvered the ropes down step by step, and the ladder dropped slowly with a squeak from the pulleys. Finally, the ladder descended between us two. So that's the trick. Thank you. Seems like you're familiar with this place. I am a regular customer, so I know a few things about this place. Thrivey caught hold of the handrail of the ladder and tried his best to climb up the very steep steps. The spacing of the ladder's rungs was suitable for someone of Sergeant's size, so it was a little large for him. The nightstand was unopened. Seems like Elegant was the one who searched my room before. Vincel was coming, so it should be just right if I go downstairs now. I locked the door and went downstairs. Well, what else would you like to order? That's enough. Thank you for the warm hospitality, good sir. Vincel swept off his thick coat and casually dropped into Heron's arms as he walked past. What are you doing, child? I am not a coat rack. Sergeant took off the coat from Heron's hand and quickly hung it from the progressively more overburdened coat rack. Heron let out an offended huff, then walked over to the fireplace and sat down, the fur on his back raised and haggled. Vincel walked towards me as he adjusted his collar, meeting me at the bottom of the stairs. Hello there, just call me Vincel. He reached into his pocket of a fancy puff-sleeve topcoat and produced a small scroll with a flourish. My pleasure. I'm Roman. I'm a detective. Splendid, Mr. Roman. Might I take your contact details later? I may have some need for a detective in the future. I'm really sorry, but I haven't done this kind of thing before. I can provide you with my address once your luggage is settled. I stepped aside to let Vincel go upstairs, and Sergeant followed him with his luggage. People nowadays. Heron was muttering to himself as he turned to me. That's fine. What kind of road of redemption doesn't have a few thorns, eh? What? Heron's words stuck in his throat at the sight of Sergeant coming downstairs. I'll prepare dinner. Feel free to chat. I immediately got up and went to Vincel's room to leave my address. Oh, okay, so there's like a lot of like possible dialogue cut out because I'm just like leaving Heron, who talks all the time. Vincel stood at the door of his room. I don't suppose it's a coincidence that your room is right next to mine, Mr. Vincel. Thought you'd be staying in the suite at the end of the corridor. The rooms are all the same, my good wolf. It's not as I have much in the way of luggage. He stepped over the doorway and I leaned on it, motioning me over with a constant mild smile. Here you are, just right here. I accepted the sharpened quill and jotted down the address of my office on the paper he gave me. He tucked the paper into the pocket where he put the scroll, then gave me a finger wave goodbye. It's snowing heavily out there. Kane tightened the lock and dusted off his hands. You're bloody lucky it's a holiday, so I don't need to be hurry going back. Why not stay until the snow's lighter? Just think of it as being on a case with me. Bugger off. As if anyone would accompany you. I told you not to come in when I have my door locked at night. No need to be rude. You're one to talk. You forgot to buy my drink after that case I helped you with. I'll treat you then. Guessing you prefer a nail? Well, yeah, that does sound good. Who's gonna treat someone to some ale? Giannis emerged from the door at the end of the corridor. Are you up to your gills in coins? How come you can pay for the corner suite? Huh, you only pay if you stay the night. That explains it. As Kane and Giannis went down the stairs together, Elegant turned sideways and slid by them before walking towards me. Do you believe me now? I do. How can I help you? I need you to swipe Kane's room key from Sergeant's keychain. I don't know if Kane will lock the door, so I need to make sure. I'll play 2 rounds of cards downstairs tonight, and then go upstairs. You can hand the key off to me then. I assume you plan on stopping the incident personally? Yes, it's the only way I can do it. Well, we went down the stairs one after the other. When we came downstairs, Sergeant seemed to have finished his quarrel with Heron. Bon appetit. Sergeant set 2 bowls of carrot stew in front of me and Elegant. Night fell. Snow was still falling and there was no pedestrians on the street anymore. Even the light in the windows of the houses in the distance was sporadic. Looks like we're gonna have to stay overnight. Do I got time to change to a smaller room so I can save some money for ale? Maybe go without the ale for tonight. Do you know the 2 places without ale? Jail and hell. That's why I come to this tavern. It's the furthest place from both. Giannis took the seat at the bar and moved to scratch the countertop. Change is okay. In this weather, every guest counts. Sergeant slid amongst Giannis across the counter. Drink up, but scratch my bar and I'll take it out of your hide. Knock. Hello? A muffled voice came from behind the door. Knock, knock, knock. Hello? Is anyone there? Continual knocks came through the snow-buried door, attracting everyone's attention. The snow was piled up high as my hips, but I knew who would be knocking at this time of night. Everyone kept silent. Giannis moved in front of the candle to hide it. Please, our carriage is stuck in the snow. Sean was right. Sean was here, right on time. How many of you are there? Sergeant opened the partition to squeeze himself out from behind the counter. He kept his left hand concealed in his coat. 3, please, we have money. We just want somewhere we can pass the night. I can only see 1. Sergeant grimaced and cracked the door open to peek out. My master and mistress are still in the carriage. Come on in, then. Sergeant pushed the door wider, allowing a thin figure to stagger inside with a gust of snow. Thank God. The wheels were stuck in the snow, and our horses panicked and broke their legs. Here he is, the first murderer. If we hadn't seen the light of the tavern, I don't know what we would have done. Thank me later. I'll go rescue the other 2. I'll give you a hand. Is he gonna take my coat again? Sergeant and Ionis took their coats and went out the door, though Ionis' coat didn't seem to fit him well. It's weird that that's the dialogue that I say, even though I know he took my coat. Phew, is there any way I can warm myself? Sean patted the snow off his coat and shuffled over to the fireplace. Surprised you made it this far with the way you're shivering. It's too cold for being near the capital. Ridiculous. But by the way, my name is Sean. I am Roman. Nice to meet you. I didn't reach out this time. The door swung open heavily as Sergeant guided two people wrapped around their thick cloaks inside. He left them by the fireplace to pour ale for them. Here you are. Drink it to warm yourselves. Giannis carried the luggage in and returned his overly tight coat his overly tight coat back to the coat rack, which I then remembered was actually my coat. Okay, so I forgot and then remembered it. I'll admit, I doubt my place will meet your usual standards. Any port in a storm, as they say, merci beaucoup. Just take it easy, and I will try to accommodate you as best I can. May I know your names, please? Lunique, Marquis Lunique Harlock, and this is my wife, Sola. A familiar amber-eyed and gray-furred wolf emerged from underneath his cloak. Snow clung to his messy but glossy fur as he dusted himself off and glanced at me. He turned his back to take off his wife's cloak before handing both to his servant goat. Sean caught the two cloaks and stood aside like a living coat rack. Your room is ready. It's not exactly a suite in the capital, but it's clean and tidy. Thank you. I simply must get out of these shoes. Sean, I think the glue of my heels came loose from the snowmelt. Sergeant walked ahead with a suitcase in each hand and a candle held by his tail. The Marquis and the Marquise followed him up. Kane watched them go upstairs from the seat at the counter, fiddling with his pendant. Almost. Sergeant came downstairs. Is there anyone here who doesn't have a room? Like me? Oh, forgive me, Father. We have a nice big room left over for the Marquis' servant. Heron's pout was so intense that it was almost inaudible. As I'm sure you know, the warriors of God must keep away from worldly pleasure which weakens them. That includes staying overnight at the inn's big suite. I suppose that is indeed the case. So I think that's all right. Vincel and Thrivey came downstairs one after the other. Thrivey walked straight to the counter, took a seat beside Kane and Ionis, and started reading his book like he was in his own little world. Kane had plucked the pendant from his neck and strode upstairs. The pendant swung about, the string of it twined between his index finger and thumb. I do say, it's gotten much more lively, hasn't it? We usually don't have a packed house like this. This late. Anyone care for a game? Sergeant took a length of blue flannel from under the counter and spread it on the table. If you have any objections to gambling, you can go upstairs and play by yourselves. Sean stood there at the table, looking longingly at the flannel before clearing his throat. I must attend to my master and mistress. Good evening. Sean's going upstairs. Are you just going to gawk, or are you going to join us? Oh, yes, I'm coming. Sat by the makeshift card table, Sergeant pulled out 4 cards and put them by the line. Let's have a simple game to warm up. What about guessing the suits? No problem. Picked out 4 cards with different suits. Leongle, Blade, Chalice, and Garen. Understand? Got it, let's get started. Alright, let's begin. Alright. If I'm correct, first was Leongle. Guess which one is Leongle 1 to 4? Ah, right, it was between these. I think it was this one? I picked the 3rd card. It was not the Leongle. Seems you're wrong. Now let's guess which one is the Blade. Pick the 3rd card. It was not the Blade. Seems you're wrong. After 2 rounds, my petty cash had run dry. I forgot which ones were which. Oh well. Maybe if I had remembered the order of the cards at the time, I would have done better. Let me refill my wallet, then it's time for a showdown. Fleeing to lick your wounds, detective. Gloat all you like, Anzox. I'll be back to clean you up. Ooh. Are you done? Elegant's hands were hidden in her sleeves and her expression was impatient. Did you get the key? Of course. Elegant's paw slid from its hiding spot and presented the key to me. I grabbed it quickly. Thanks. I always knew you were reliable. I would not act so familiar with me, detective. Actually, I'm already familiar with you. I moved next to the door to Kane's room, moving carefully and quietly as I could, slid the key into the keyhole and pressed my good ear closely to the door. Elegant followed suit. I haven't seen you in a while. Yeah. The head of the key gradually slid into the keyhole. Turns out you didn't forget me, Sean. Sure. Body of the key went in. So you merely forgot the promise you made, right? So sorry, I hadn't had a chance to recommend you. Can you open the door quicker, please? He was about to kill him. The key started clicking through the cylinder, and I slowed down, trying to keep them from rumbling. No chance at all? Being the Marquis's valet doesn't bring you even a single chance to even mention my name? Fully in. Sorry. I pressed my shoulder against the door, unlocked the door, and stormed in the room. Roman? Don't come near me! Kane was holding the mug in one hand and the candlestick in the other, about to hurl them to the ground. Sean was curled up in the corner of the room, desperately trying to dig something out of his pocket. Before Kane could move, I grabbed his wrist and slowly pulled him down. Both of you calm down, if you're going to talk like civilized people. Sean! I tightened my grip on Kane's wrist and slowly maneuvered him to sit on the bed. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I couldn't get a job for you, but really, I tried to convince the Marquis. Honestly, I shouldn't have expected that you'd make me a Marquis chef. That was just bloody wishful thinking on my end. But you could have at least written me or something. 20 years! I'm amazed I even recognize you at this point. Kane... Sean pulled his hand out of his pocket and held up a pendant. Even though the lanyard had been charged and the hole had been heavily worn, the roughly polished pendant almost perfectly matched the one Kane was wearing. I don't deserve to be your friend. Take it back. Sean turned his head shamefully and extended the shaking hand holding the pendant. Stubborn, stupid goat. We've been friends for almost 30 years. You can't get rid of me that easily. Sean let out a bleat of surprise as Kane stood up and pulled him to a rough hug. Oh, this is much better. Oh, thank God. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that we can go back and stop the murders. But I'm afraid that something else is going to happen because Heron is still here. Because this was the first murder. Like, the first murder happens like 2 lines after we stormed in. Like, he keeps yelling at him and Sean gets so scared that he pulls out a dagger and he stabs him and he dies. I stepped out of the room and winked at Elegant. If you want a hug too, then prepare to be disappointed. I should go sleep. Unless I miss my guess, it's Vincel's turn tomorrow. Vincel wants to kill Heron. I don't particularly like the idea, but if I let Vincel do what he wants, then Anzox will get hurt. I've got to stop Vincel and Thrivey. If I could find a way to make Heron confess his crimes and then face the consequences, neither Vincel nor Thrivey would be driven to murder. Okay. If no murder cases ever happen, then there's no Night Watch, making it impossible for Lunique and Giannis to have their little lovers' quarrel. That's true. Yeah, okay. Though I can't stop Lunique from cheating on Solar in the future, I can at least save Ionis. There's only so much one detective can do. I locked the door and hid the key under my pillow, then blew out the candles and went to sleep. Okay. Okay. My fingers are crossed that nobody has died. Day 3rd, 25th December, 1285? The snow was falling outside as I slowly got up from bed. I think I overslept. The doors in the hallways are closed. I originally thought that if I went to sleep, I'd wake up in the agency again, but it doesn't seem so. I went downstairs. The guests had all gathered in the hall, drinking and laughing. Peter, Giannis, and Elegant were seated at the round table in the hall. Peter had a mug in his hands and was chugging the contents as Giannis laughed. Elegant watched silently from her seat across from them, sometimes taking a sip of cider from her cup. Lunique and Solar were seated at the counter. Sean passed by me as he went upstairs to fetch something for them. Vincel sat beside the pair, fiddling with his tie. His coat was as straight as ever. He and the Marquis were talking about the current fashions at the court. Thrivey, Anzox, and Heron were sitting by the fireplace. Heron had just gone through a failed bout of evangelism and was clearly frustrated. In the kitchen, Sarzan was fiercely arguing with Kane about something. As best as I could tell, they were arguing about changes to the Christmas menu. So different from what happened before. I would love for my character to sleep with Ionis, but he already specifically said, well, I wouldn't be his lover. And I'm like, alright, fine, Roman. Fucking break my heart here. Sarzan and Kane were arguing in the kitchen. Okay, let's talk to them. I don't remember what's going on, actually. You have to stew the carrots immediately in boiling water after you peel them. Listen to me, you boil the carrots first, otherwise the smell overwhelms everything else. Only because you insist on cooking them with meat. You know nothing. If you boil the carrots, it ruins their savory flavor, you scaly... Carrots aren't savory, you bullheaded... I think I'll be safer out here. I should stay in the hall and observe Vincel. I should find a place to sit down and have a chat. Oh yeah. So it's the day... It's Christmas Eve? Night? Is it Christmas Eve? I think it is. Sit by the hearth. As Anzox rose to get another drink, Heron touched Anzox's elbow with his empty mug. Oh right. Forgot this was happening. Would you mind filling mine as well, dear boy? I didn't take you for a drinker, father. Anzox balanced the two mugs in one hand and his loot on the other as he headed towards the counter. Still think he'd make a great waiter. Anzox filled the mugs in return. Here you go, father. God bless you, my child. The red dragon shrugged and sat down. Let's talk to Anzox. Sat next to Anzox. What's up? It's been a long time since I saw Kane. It's nice to see him again. Yep. He's a good drinking buddy, even though he never requested a song from me. If he did, wouldn't it be just like that Bible verse? Which one? Give not which is holy to the dogs, nor cast you your pearls before swine. Still, he's much better at drinking than you. Will the snowstorm stop tomorrow? What do I look like, a village witch? How should I know? But I thought you just said, that was me trying to raise spirits. Would you rather I say something like, oh no, the snow will keep falling and we'll all be trapped here until the spring thaw? If I said something like that, I'd have my tongue cut out. So it's better to say something nice. Nothing, it's warmer sitting by your side. Naturally. Okay. Looks like the snow's not letting up. It is the will of God, I suppose. Unlike the flood that washes all sins away, no matter how heavy the snow is, it can only cover sin. That's still really confusing. So what? All the sins of Rimph are buried deep down under the heavy snow, but the snow eventually melts. No matter how deep the sins are buried, they shall be revealed by the light of the sun. Let's talk to Thrivey. Can I help you? Being a doctor must be hard, right? Why are you asking this all of a sudden, Mr. Detective? Why do I think being a doctor is hard work? Workplaces. Didn't you say you got here from another district because you lost your way? I did. Vela District is connected to 3 others. Lives of most people in each district are not so pleasant. Particularly the Karnak District. Karnak. Have you been there, Mr. Detective? I had a case there a long time ago. I hope you didn't get sick when you went there. The population there is particularly vulnerable to dysentery. I didn't get sick, but I did get pushed off a roof and was stuck in bed for 3 days. My word, if you can recover from that sort of fall that quickly, then you must be quite robust. I never heard of this. Nothing. Well then, a toast to your health, Mr. Detective. Larry raised his mug and shook it in the air, then took a sip. Okay. I think Vincel is at the counter. Yeah, there he is. I wouldn't worry so much, Marquis Harlock. All you have to do is wait until the snow stops, and then you can make it to His Majesty's Christmas feast. That's true. If they don't argue about the murders, they still will argue about the Christmas feast. Bah, it is already too late. It's Christmas today.
I am sure to miss the feast if the snow doesn't stop by noon. And there's also the matter of my college. Oh, la malchance, le malheur. I'm sure that this is merely a temporary setback for you, Marquis.
Lunique rolled his eyes.
Do not try to flatter me, Marchand.
I sat beside Vincel.
What brings you to me, my good detective?
Why'd you come to Rimph? I assume it's quite a long trip from your home to Rimph, right?
Certainly, I haven't traveled this far from Allentown in years.
Is it your second time here?
Not really.
Vincel paused a bit and continued fiddling with his gloves.
It's my first time visiting the capital.
I guess telling you to have a pleasant trip would be in poor taste?
Oh no, not at all.
His gloves were already on his hands properly, but he kept fiddling the edges. Didn't you say before that you might hire me for a case?
Indeed, my good detective.
Anything you want to share about that, so I'll have time to prepare?
It's just investigating a trivial matter. Easy as it sounds, no need to over-prepare.
Alright. The spice business must be making money lately, given the price of pepper in the city just tripled.
The same goes for cinnamon and cloves, even the price of basil has gone up a lot.
No, it's the holidays, but surely it can't be that expensive.
It's because the spice shipments haven't arrived at port yet. Merchants are still consuming their inventories while waiting for that cargo. Naturally, the price goes up as supplies dwindle.
Those gloves of yours look very stylish. Vincel stretched his bow tie and put it together.
Great minds think alike.
I've always preferred thick gloves, especially those thick enough to retain their shape while empty.
Ah, of course.
I raised my mug and heaped it too. To Christmas.
To snow.
Our mugs clicked and I could smell the aroma of pale ale mixed with fresh basil in his cup as his drink sloshed. That's interesting. He didn't say anything different from last time. Could talk to Lunique.
What terrible weather.
Recount. By the way, if there are other disputed cases in the future, feel free to send for me.
Absolutely, should I encounter such a case again. Your performance last time impressed me a lot. I admired that a lot, especially when you dared the criminal to strike you with the armor under your coat. Your bravery is remarkable as a detective.
Okay. Alright. Can I talk to Solar this time? No, Sol won't let me. And the round table, let me talk to Elegant. She's the only one I could talk to. Peter was standing to sway in his seat and let out a belch as Aeonis clapped him on the shoulder. Oh, they would have different things to say, because Kane's not dead. Peter was passed out on the table. Don't get in a drinking contest with Aeonis. Sharks can excrete alcohol through their skin, so it's impossible to beat them. Aeonis was gulping down his ale while Peter was slumped down next to him and passed out.
Gotta admit, he did better than I thought. Thought he'd give up after the third cup, but he made it all the way through number 4.
No, they don't have much to say. My eyes met Elegance when I looked at her. It was a good end last night. Well done, though I admit a murder case would have raised your cachet. I'm here to enjoy my vacation, not solve murders. Assuming things don't change, there will be another case. Another one. Vincel will set up a trap that injures Anzox. You told me that Vincel was my client. Why would he set something up to hurt Anzox? That's a long story. Sergeant finished arguing with Kane, walked out of the kitchen and pulled the dartboard from underneath the counter. If any of you want something to do while you wait for dinner, I recommend playing a game of darts. I'm only offering the dartboard and darts. Any bets you want to place are up to you. Yeah! Anzox bounced up from his seat with an eager grin. Guess the idea of possible loot or sense of challenge had kindled some long-lost interest from ancient dragon ancestors. Okay, so I have seen this as well. Oh, never mind. I'm not going to participate. I will watch first.
I shall watch.
It is tempting. Well, I'll watch as well.
Fine by me, but I'm going to check my luggage upstairs so I can leave immediately once the snow stops.
Before anyone could interrupt, Vincel put down his cup and walked upstairs. Vincel went upstairs. I will just watch it.
Just try it. You're gonna get a kick out of it.
Ionis pinched Peter's ear and pulled him out of his seat. I suppose I can join in and see what happens? Well, that makes 7 participants. Anzox, Thrivey, Vincel, Ionis, Elegant, and Peter. Oh, myself too. What about you, Roman? It's just a practice round, no bets. Okay, I'm gonna save it here, actually. Because if I say no, I kind of want to go upstairs real quick. I'm a bit out of practice, so I'll just watch. That's okay. Join us anytime if you like. What are we waiting for? If everyone is here, let's get started. Vincel's upstairs. I'll go get him. Vincel was in the corridor, holding the wooden handle which was tied to the rope, trying to snap it.
Mr. Roman, what brings you here?
He hid his hands behind him as soon as he saw me and smiled. Everyone's waiting downstairs so the game can start.
I see. Well, I'll be there in a moment.
Vincel stepped forward and tried to go around me. I raised my hand to block his way. So I'll get right to the point.
What?
You're trying to break the handle and put it back, aren't you? That way when Heron comes up to get his rosary, it'll snap and the ladder will smash his head in. Fortunately, your plan won't work, so someone else will be the victim, so I suggest you give up now. If you don't stop this, the innocent person is going to get hit by the ladder instead of Heron.
You...
Vincel's hair stood up and his eyes widened.
What are you talking about? I was just resting my hand on this handle.
Knowing what happened to you and your brother, I understand why you want revenge on Heron.
But... How did you know that?
I'm a detective, Vincel, or shall I call you Jonathan? There. That look of shock makes all this much more satisfying. I know you want revenge for your brother, but this isn't the way.
No.
Vincel's tail lashed angrily and his lips pulled back to show his teeth.
I have to. I hired someone else to track him and his accomplice, and now here he is, in this tavern. This is God giving me an opportunity.
Considering how your prior 2 attempts turned out, I have to disagree. I won't let you kill him, but I can help you bring him to justice.
All you have to do is look the other way. This trap
will actually hurt Anzox, and I know you're expecting Heron to go upstairs to get his rosary at dinner time, but you've missed something. Heron has been sending Anzox to do things for him, so Anzox will trigger the trap. And for your troubles, you'll be tied up in the cellar, and trust me, you won't enjoy staying there. However, you'll manage to escape and try to murder Heron in his room, but unbeknownst to you, Heron and Peter will have exchanged their rooms, so you'll murder Peter by mistake. And if you don't listen to me right now, all you'll end up is enjoying a taste of the appleseed poison you've got hidden into the pinky finger of your glove.
How did you know
Now, I've got an idea for you how to get you what you want without any bloodshed. What do you say?
What is it?
Bit of divine intervention.
What?
Deus Ex Machina.
Okay.
We'll talk about the plan in the attic after dinner. Remember to ask Sarzin and Anzox to join us. Now let's go downstairs and play a game. I went downstairs with Vincel.
Sorry to keep you guys waiting.
Just let Thrivey do it. Kind of want to do that.
Sorry to keep you guys waiting.
Okay. Are all the characters supposed to be here? Yes, this is one of the art pieces I was talking about. So, Thrivey is not remotely this tall. Thrivey is like belly button height to Ionis. He is very, very short. And Ionis is actually taller, I think, than this. Anzox is probably about correct. Like, Ionis and Sarzin are like very tall. Sarzin lifted up the dartboard and hung it on the wall behind the counter. With its peeling black paint riddled with hundreds of dart holes, the dartboard looked as old as his tavern. Took 3 darts from the groove behind the board and put them on the table. 3 darts only, throw them in turns. I won't give you more in case you toss them around. Also, this should be obvious, don't stick them in the table. Now that was just tempting fate. Anzox walked in front of the table first, stand behind the brick. Yeah, ready, fire. 220, 141 total. Well, what's wrong with the last dart? Expected you to be an expert, seeing as you were so active. Next, okay, so I kind of want to play darts, so. Oh, no. Not save, load. I'm gonna load this one real quick. Oh, let me save this one just in case if things go differently, but register it, so that makes that. Well, someone better not get darted. No one got darted last time. Let's get started, and then I go upstairs. Okay, good, perfect. Why is it so high up? And then he gets a lot of lows. Double 9, triple 3, and 3. 50 points. Wow, a bit of a fluke if you ask me. Congratulations. Next.
I've not played darts in a long time, so please forgive my humble showing.
Vincel took the darts in his left hand and took aim. 5, 20, tripled 1, 20 in total.
Sure enough. Oh well.
Next. I'm ready. Triple 5, half bullseye, 20. In total, 60. Just so. Next.
Should I hold it like this?
Almost. Be careful. Don't throw them at the wall. Especially don't throw it at the pictures or else.
Or else?
60 points with 2 misses. What sort of beginner's luck is this? Next.
If I may.
20, triple 20, miss. 80 in total.
That seems luck favors me well.
That wasn't luck and you know it. It's my turn. Roman, help me note it. 120 bullseye for 50, 71 in total. As to be expected. Your turn. Okay. Move up, move up, move up, move up, move up, up, up. No, down. Down. Up. 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 No, down. Up. Up. No! I got triple 1. Dang it. 1. Oh, dang it. I thought I hit the 20. Oh god, the last one is hard to control. I forgot about that. Oh, oh, up, 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 up. Oh god, oh god, oh god. Higher, please, higher. That way. Yep. 20. 24 points in total. You must be drunk. Oh my god. I did just as bad this time as I did last time. That's a really hard minigame. This is just the warm-up. The next one will be the real thing, but first let me find my keychain. That one? Ah, that's it. Where the hell did it go before? Vincel is acting. Peter pulled me aside.
Roman, could I ask you to do me a favor?
What is it?
I just wanted to send a letter to Hella. Could you help write it for me, please?
Hella, the little hair you've had your eye on.
Yes, that's her.
Oh yeah, last time I said no because we couldn't go upstairs together. But now that's not a rule. Do you know if she can read?
She can ask someone else to read it for her.
I can't refuse? Oh my god. Okay then, just tell me what you want to say and I'll write it out.
Really? Thank you so much.
Next round will begin shortly. Get ready.
Yes, I'm coming.
Peter rubbed his hands and walked to the counter. After a few rounds, Vincel had lost all of his 45-cent wager. Though it wasn't a big amount for him, he looked mournful as he walked back to the counter. Yanis turned the tables in later rounds and even won a little. Elegant presented to be a novice and only finally managed to lose a small sum of money. Anzox and Sarsen were first and second. Figured that Sarsen was going to win the whole pot with his techniques, but Anzox got unexpected 360 points and won. Seems luck didn't bless the two rookies. Peter and Thrivey tried hard but could only break even. I was not in a good mood, so I lost more than Elegant did. Sarsen was absent for later turns, because he was busy preparing Christmas dinner in the kitchen. I can't manage this all by myself. Kane, lend me a hand. Only if I'm allowed to prepare the stew. Alright, just get in here. Kane smirked and followed Stars into the kitchen. Oh, that's cool. Christmas afternoon. What should I do now? What did I do last time? Well, I'll talk with Anzox. Started walking towards the corner Anzox was in. Lou was gently pressed against his body as he plucked the string softly and hummed the tune. The song sounds a little familiar. What is it? It is an old lullaby, so it's not strange that you think it's familiar. Anzox continued to hum, and I sat nearby to listen. Oh, this is what I did last time. I remember now. Others in the pub seemed to sleep soundly. Although I don't know why, I just can't relax. Probably because of Anzox. He seems the type to start playing fast-paced dance music the second everyone starts nodding off. Think you could play something a little bit more Christmassy? I'll do that after dinner. I'll be in a better mood once I have a full stomach. The smell of mutton gradually wafted in from the kitchen. Anzox and I couldn't help turning our heads. Christmas dinner's almost ready. Could you guys help bring the tables together? Okay. I'll start serving dinner when everyone is here. Me, Heron, and Ionis started moving the three round tables, placing the long tabletop on top, and laying the red and green striped tablecloths. It was getting dark and everyone gathered at the table. There you go. I didn't realize that Elegant... No, that's Solar. Okay. I was like, I didn't realize that Elegant had hair. That's me. That's the Marquis, who looks exactly like me. Solar. This is cute. I really like this art. This is probably my favorite art in the game. Merry Christmas! Make with the music already, Anzox. You can wait until after I fill my belly, Ionis. I'm not playing until after dinner, no matter how much money I'm given. What about 20 Rayar? Pay me first. Kane stepped out of the kitchen carrying a large steaming pot. Stewed carrot! Vincel pulled his plate back. Wow! And my stewed mutton. Vincel pushed his plate forward. Sergeant took the lid off of the two pots and jogged back into the kitchen. He soon returned with 2 large platters of grilled meat and baked apples. There are still apples in this season. If stored properly, you can eat them all year round. Although this plate is my last stock. As soon as Sergeant set the last few dishes down, everyone started to reach out. Wait a minute. Eh? Ionis' hands hung in the air, his eyes looking a bit vicious. I've nearly starved to death. Forget about the prayer. Vincel finally came to himself and covered his mouth. I snatched a roast apple before Ionis reached out his hands. Okay, cool. We stopped him about talking about the prayer. We ate a proper Christmas dinner. Now it's time to deal with the real business at hand. I lowered the ladder slowly in the corridor. In the corridor. Vincel, Anzox, and Sarzin followed me up. What about Thrivey? Thrivey literally killed him earlier. So, Detective, what is this cunning plan of yours? I plan to make him confess his crimes, then we could take him to the judiciary. And how do you plan to do that? Well, I'll need some help from Sergeant and Anzox. Eh? Well, you may sacrifice a little, but I'm sure Vincel will reward you handsomely, right? Only if this mat scheme works. Deal. Sergeant, do you still have those fake angel wings you wore for April Fools? Let me think. They're around here somewhere. Why? I looked at Anzox. Do you know any hymns? Something nice and familiar like you'd hear in one of Brim's churches? Fake wings and hymns? What are you thinking about? Listen, we'll dress you with the wings and lower you down to Heron's window on the second floor with rope. An absolutely fascinating plan. Right on cue. Is Heron in his room? This whole I know everything business of yours is growing tiresome. You're just jealous. He is praying at his window. Take your time. I doubt he'll be going anywhere. Poor Anzox. Ready or not? So what do I do now? We'll lower you down from the attic to the second floor. Then you begin playing the loop. If Heron says something, memorize it. We may send him to jail if he admits he and the abbot stole the money and blamed it on the Noble brothers. Of course, if he admitted to bullying Thrivey too, that would be even better. A literal god from a machine? Is this seriously going to work? I don't think Heron is particularly pious. Piety has nothing to do with it. Guilt is what matters. What if he thinks my appearance is a good omen and has no intention of confessing? If he doesn't want to confess, just threaten him with hellfire and damnation or something. Trust me, any angel that looks like you could only be an angel of judgment. I handed one end of the rope to Sergeant and the other tied around Anzox's waist. I'll go to his door and listen. When you're ready, let Anzox down slowly. Just tying one around his waist is not going to be very easy for him to maneuver, but okay. Vincel and I quickly climbed down the ladder and put our ears against Heron's door. This is a bad plan. Oh my god. Holy crap. Look at this. Oh, sorry about the flashing lights. Oh. Please whisper in my heart so that your truth may fill my... Oh my god, stop. Oh my god, they're really gonna keep flashing it, aren't they? May fill my soul and purify my sin. May you guide me to the path of... I confess your sins, Friar Heron, lest hellfire consume you. Okay, stop flashing. I will say this, Anzox definitely is the right person for this job. For a moment, even I was convinced that an angel had come down to smite Heron. I have committed unforgivable sins, performed unrighteous deeds. I aided the abbot in stealing from the funds to restore God's cathedral. I falsely accused the innocent of fraud. Please, God, save me and show me the way. Vincel's smile was wide and gleeful. Do you admit to bullying the weak? I have harmed the weak, yes, please, I will take 10 times the pain I inflicted on him. Please, just forgive me. Thrivey, who had come upstairs to find out what was going on, froze as he heard Heron's hoarse screaming. When it stops snowing, just repeat what you said to the judiciary, okay? I pushed open Heron's unlocked door, and the hyena turned to look at me in astonishment. Merry Christmas. Wait, is that it? That's the ending? So the last 2 days just don't happen. What? That was really abrupt. I am feeling very Catholic in this moment. Wait, thank you for saving us. Oh, that's so cute. But yeah, that's the last thing. Yeah, really, I mean, the last thing would be Ionis, but I guess everybody's saved. Because the first death didn't happen, people weren't on edge. Because they weren't on edge, that means they didn't argue. Which means they didn't split up, which means he didn't get the chance to talk to Ionis on his own, and Ionis didn't try to comfort him by offering to sleep with him. Alright. After that dramatic moment, we stayed inside the tavern for 2 more days before the snow stopped. The murders that should have happened there were now only in my memories. White Star Tavern is still there with steady customers. Anzox finished the story of Draconia, and though the ending wasn't satisfying, it was still an ending. When he comes to the White Star, sometimes he tells his audience a story about the Christmas murders that never happened. Sergeant now has one more thing to look forward to outside of his collection of fluffy white dragon portraits. Thrivey occasionally comes to the tavern for a drink after work. After Heron's trial, Vincel's record was cleared and he returned to the capital as a spice merchant. Sure, he may not have his family fortune anymore, but he seems happy to have his family name cleared and his title reinstated. Heron was escorted to the judiciary after the snow stopped. He escaped the noose thanks to his affiliation with the church, but he's still going to stay in jail for a long time. Okay, that's interesting. But the happiest ending so far, because I hated him. I've heard that Thrivey sometimes visits him in his cell. Under Sean's recommendation, Kane became Lunique and Solar's cook. From his letter, Sean and Kane's relationship seems better than ever. Oh, you know what? Yeah, this whole, if he survived, the fact that he was helping Sargent during the snow-in, then yeah, that would actually like put him in good light for the Marquise. So yeah. Kane became Lunique and Solar's cook. From his letter, Sean and Kane's relationship seems to be better than ever. Oh, as for Lunique and Solar, I don't know how long their relationship will last, but I hope that nothing bad happens. Okay. Aeonis is still a regular customer and still hides his secrets. He escaped death at Lunique's hands, but the ultimate problem remains unsolved. For most people, homosexuality is still a felony. If someone like Aeonis was accused of such behavior, they might even be sentenced to death. Yeah, this is still the 1200s, unfortunately. If Apollyon stopped regarding it as a crime, maybe situations like Lunique's and Aeonis's could be avoided. I don't know. Aww. As for Peter, he still orders carrot stew as always. Does this imply that he and Peter get together? Who's this? Though I suggested he get Anzox to write his love letter instead of me. Oh, okay. Who's this? As for me, I still get clients at my office. The work is steady, especially since Elegant decided to set up shop with me. Ah, it's time to wake up. I got a big case today. Okay. That's the good ending after you get the bad ending. That's interesting. Okay. That's kind of like time shenanigans. It's a separate ending. Alright, I appreciate that. This part of everything went a lot faster than I expected. Okay, it's a happy ending for some. However, it's a happier ending for Heron than the other ending, considering the other ending, he gets killed by Thrivey. Finally, someone killed him, but if he's in jail and he's trying to repent and Thrivey is going to visit him, I'm okay with it. It's fine. Oh, I went to the credits, but it's in Chinese. Oh, and I can see all of the art. Yay! Okay. Well, thank you everybody for coming. That was a nice stream. I should stop recording. For those who are watching afterwards, on YouTube or wherever I upload this, because I'm recording this, thank you for watching, and here is my Twitch where I stream this, and you can go follow over there. That'd be nice. Thank you everybody for coming. Had a great time. This was fun.